All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another one of our Israelites gathering Shabbat studies. My name is Yadon Yasharal. I'm with my brother Kased Yasharal. Shabbat Shalom, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, everything's going pretty all right. It's a dark season and there's a lot of dark things going on in the world and within our own personal spaces. But we're trying to persevere.
Amen, amen. Just a lot going on, especially around this time. This is when you have some of the highest rates of suicide and a lot of times it's not because of material things. A lot of it is family generated, where people around this time, this is the time that people associate with family. And then when you have issues with family members or you're going through something, this time and this so-called holiday spirit, Christmas spirit exasperates some of these issues that we deal with. So this particular class is called Worship the Creator, not the Creation. Worship the Creator, not the creation. And when we keep that focus, that why are we here? We are servants of the Most High. We won't get caught up in all these things that go on in the world. Now, we have to deal with them because we live in the world, but we don't have to be of the world because the world is going to deal with the world a specific way. That's why the world loves its own and it hates those that are of the Most High. So we have to learn how to keep our focus on the Creator, which some of his greatest commandment and second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor like yourself. So you have to deal with the creation according to how the Creator assigned us to worship, according to his laws, his rules, his ways, his grace, his mercy, his instructions. And where we go off is when we start to place the value of what Yah created over the Creator. So we're going to get into that. Before we get started, if you haven't already, visit our website at israelitesgathering.com. We also have our cell phone application, which is also free. You can download that on your app store or the Play Store, Google Play Store, and you can access all of our classes, all of our study material, all the things that we read from. You'll get free access to those things. So there's also an instant messaging function on there as well that allows you to reach out to other Israelites that may be in your area or other Hebrews that you know. As well as when there's an emergency or anything like that, as long as there's still cell phone service, you'll be able to communicate. Again, we're also working on a live chat feature for the application for those that watch it on the application. So we're still working on that. So again, the title of the Shabbat study today is The Creator, Worship the Creator, not the creation. So one thing we want to start with saying in Romans 8, in chapter 31, we're going to actually go and read that chapter, but I just want to read a part of this one verse. If Elohim be with us, who can be against us? So if the Most High is with us, who can be against us? So we have to always remember that in the times of darkness, in the time of tribulation, the time of confusion, whose side are you on and who's on your side? So let's open up in Deuteronomy chapter 6, Devarim chapter 6, and let's start in the Shema or the Shama. And this is an open forum. So anybody has questions, comments, whether you agree or disagree, as long as we do it righteously and decent and in order, by all means, chime in. And hopefully we can get to the scripts and get to the conclusion. So we're opening up in Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 6. And let's go ahead and start that at verse 1. And Shabbat Shalom to the Hicks family. Good to see y'all. brother Aaron and sis Stephanie. Good to see you as always. Big Shabbat Shalom to my big bro Yafi Yehuda, and Shabbat Shalom to sis Shirley Martinez. Good to see you, sis.
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahweh your Elohim commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you go to possess it, that you might fear Yahweh your Elohim, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you, you and your son and your son's son, all the days of your life,
All
and
right,
that your
so
days may
go ahead. I'm sorry.
be prolonged.
All right, so your life and the length of your days, as a head of a household, as a man, as an adult male, is tied in to the people that you're responsible for, your household. So you have to ensure that all the statutes and commandments, that your son and your son's son. So he's dealing with the future heads of households, all the days of your life, so that your days can be extended. So that is your responsibility. Verse 3.
Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has promised you, in the land that flows with milk and honey.
All right. So here, Shama or Shema in the modern Hebrew, right? Hear, O Yasharal. That's the first commandment he gave us. Hear, listen, right? And he said, observe and do it so that it can be well with you and that you can increase. So he's telling us how to be kings and how to be mighty kings, right? So that we're the head and not the tail. And he said, this is how you will get all the gifts that I promised you. Now, the world, these are things that he created in the world, all these things that he created. But he's saying, I, as the creator, if you follow this, I will give this to you. Now, when we decide, I'm going to supersede what Yah say to follow, because I see this creation in front of me, this person, or this thing that I covet, that I want, that I'm going to take, and I decide to go against Yah to get that, I'm now placing the creation over the creator, because I'm saying I don't need the creator for the creation. I can go straight to the creation. Or maybe if I just get the creation to agree with me, I can have what I want. But the Most High is showing us right here in the very beginning, this is not so. Verse 4.
Hear, O Yasharal, Yahweh our Elohim is one, one Yahweh. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might.
So there's only
And,
one. So there's no other fraction of him that has some kind of authority that's above him, that will give a different message, or there's a different way. No, there's only one way. He said there's none other name, which is a character in which we can be saved. There's no other way. He said, I am the way. I am the life. I am the light. So anything else created cannot supersede the creator. Tamshi?
and these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up.
This is what your house conversation is supposed to be like. This is what kids supposed to be hearing going on in your household. They're supposed to be hearing you talking about commandments, how to order a home, how to set up how to protect your temple, how to keep yourself clean, how to keep yourself holy, how to avoid evil spirits, all these different types of things which are taught directly via the commandments, because the adversarial spirit, he was created too. It's a job. If you go towards life, you get life. But if you go towards death, you get death. So this is the conversations that's supposed to be going on in our house. Verse 8.
And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes.
All right. So now you have people physically doing this. physically binding a sign upon your hand, right? And physically putting that frontlets on between your eyes. But what it's saying is everything that you touch, the way you touch things and how you move and how you take and how you give, right? It's going to be according to these commandments. And your eyes, be careful what you see and how you see what you see. When you're looking, you're supposed to be looking through a different set of lens, a different set of eyes, an eye that don't see evil. I can't go that way. I don't even see I just see a wall. I don't see a path that way. All I see is these paths of righteousness. Verse 9.
And you shall write them upon the post of your house and on your gates. And it shall be when Yahweh your Elohim shall have brought you into the land which he sware unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Yishak, and to Jacob, to give you great and goodly cities which you builded not, and houses full of all good things which you filled not, and wells digged which you digged not, vineyards and olive trees which you planted not, when you shall have eaten and be full.
All right. So these are the things, these are the promises, right? We didn't build these houses. We didn't, fill these wells and dig these wells and plant these vineyards, but we're going to inherit these things. So if this belongs to somebody else, if physically somebody else was inhabiting it before us, so we can't just go and take it. But how did those people get in that place? Who did it belong to before then? It belonged to us. But it belonged to us because Yah put us over that portion of land. So ultimately it belongs to Yah. So Yah has the right to proportion things the way he wants, to give us what we deserve and to take things that don't belong to others. So when we decide to go around him and say, you know what, these houses and these land and these homes belong to the children of Israel, but we're going to say, I'm going to go to United Nations. I'm going to go to America. I'm going to go to whatever superpower so that I can take over these things. You're going to the world and having the world enforce things that's against Yah. But remember, if Elohim be with us, who can be against us?
Verse 12. Then beware lest you forget Yahweh, which brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. You shall fear Yahweh your Elohim and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other Elohim and other of the gods of the people which are round about you. For Yahweh your Elohim is a jealous Elohim among you, lest the anger of Yahweh your Elohim be kindled against you and destroy you from off the face of the earth.
All right. So for Yahweh, Elohim is a jealous Elohim. So that's an emotion. That's a feeling. You don't care about something, you ain't jealous. So he's jealous about his wife. He's jealous about his family. He's jealous about his inheritance. And he's saying, listen, you cannot have any other power over me. That's out of order. What could be so important? What could be so wise or so valuable that could be created that's more important than the thing that has the power to cast you into the flame fire in this world and the next? So there has to be a deep confusion, a heavy confusion to misorder that, to think you're going to supersede the Most High and go straight to his creation to inherit his creation.
Verse 16. You shall not tempt Yahweh your Elohim as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim and his testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do that which is right and good in the sight of Yahweh, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers.
And here's the problem. We too worried about doing right and good in the sight of others. That's the problem. We are, again, putting too high of a value on the opinion of the creation. But what about the opinion of the creator? If the creator says, no, you will do right, just because this creation and the God of this world, the prince of the air is like, nah, it's cool. You can do this. You can do that. We are now seeking the validation of the creation over the creator. When the creator said, no, you will do right, period. And right is what I say is right, not what we vote on, not what the creation votes on is right, not what I feel like is right in my heart, not what a elder or a mother or father or a husband or a wife says is right. No, what does Yah say? And we can't supersede that.
Verse 19, to cast out all your enemies from before you, as Yahweh has spoken. And when your son asks you in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Yahweh our Elohim has commanded you?
All right, so he's asking you questions, but how are he going to ask you questions about statutes and testimonies and judgments and all these things? You ain't talking about it. You talking about the championship game tomorrow. You talking about making some money. You talking about gossip. You talking about everything else other than what we supposed to be discussing in our house. How are your children going to learn from you? How are they going to question you and ask you when they're trying to put these things that you're teaching them? So, men, this is your responsibility in your households to make sure people understand we worship the creator, not the creation. So we got to understand the creator's order.
Verse 21, then you shall say unto your son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and Yahweh brought us up out of Egypt with a mighty hand.
So yeah, we was in a bad situation. We were slaves, we was bondmen and bondwomen, servants. But Yah freed us. Again, if Elohim be with us, who can be against us? So if everything is against us, that means Yah's against us. Because Yah is for us, nothing they do will stand. So how could anything be more important than being in good graces with that supreme spirit? Yeah.
Verse 22, and Yahweh showed signs and wonders great and sore upon Mizraim or Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he swore unto our fathers. And Yahweh commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahweh our Elohim, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our Elohim, as he has commanded us.
Praise Yah. Salakia, I forgot to put the scripts up, so I'll have this ready. So let's move on. Let's go to Romans, Ramim, chapter 1. And we're going to get more understanding of serving this creature over the creator. Romans chapter 1. And we're going to start this at verse 16.
All right, Romans chapter 1 and verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach, for it is the power of Elohim unto salvation to everyone that believes, to the Jew first, or the Yahudim, and also the Greek.
All right, so he's confirming again, there's order. If you don't like that, I'm sorry, you're not going to enter in. This is the order. This is no different than the order in a household or order in assembly. You got elders, then you have youngers. You got husband, then you have wives. You got parents, then you have children. If you out of order, that's the way of the world. Whatever is beneficial. Verse 17.
For therein is the righteousness of Elohim revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith.
The just shall live by faith. We have faith that Yah's ways is righteousness that leads unto life. So you got to ask yourself, if Yah's righteousness is his word, his way is grievous to you, how are you going to live by faith? How are you going to have faith in something that's grievous to you? Then you have to ask yourself, why is his commandments grievous to you? Was you made that way? Were you physically made where commandments is grievous to you? Or did the creation that took place in this world create that in you?
Verse 18. For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness.
So you hold the truth in unrighteousness. So when the truth is exposed to you, right? Man, you got the truth exposed to you and you say, nah, this is different. My heart don't mislead me. The word says this is how I'm supposed to react, but nah, that's not truth. Verse 19.
Because that which may be known of Elohim is manifest in them, for Elohim has showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew Elohim, they glorified him not as Elohim, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened.
And this is what happens. How long is the Most High going to keep presenting himself to you so you can reject him? How long will a man do that? A man ain't even going to show up that. When you keep rejecting a man, he's not coming back. So you think the creator who's perfect, the man might, a physical man might deserve to be rejected, but not the Most High. So he going to keep showing up saying, hey, 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 but you refuse to glorify him and you turn around and give that glory to something that was created. What kind of smoke is that putting in his nose? So when this happens, all the Holy Spirits he keeps sending to you, all the grace, all the mercy, all the warnings to save you, they stop coming around. And when you're left to your own devices, your mind is completely dark because there's no light in you. There's no more word.
Verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
You professing yourself to be so wise, you don't need the commandments. The commandments don't apply to you. You know it. You got it. You became a fool. Verse 23.
And changed the glory of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like unto corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things.
So they took the gold that they Hebrew borrowed from the Egyptians, right? And here they built a calf. And then you look later in the temple, while we in our land in the temple that Yah gave us, we got pictures of all those Egyptian, beast-looking animal, bird head man, and all this stuff. What? And calling that the Most High? The other nations, there's an excuse for them to do that because they don't know any better. But you, Yasharal, you know that man created those things. Verse 24.
Wherefore Elohim also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves.
Okay, wherefore. So that means because, right? And inconsequential. Well, since you decide to become vain in your imagination, you're becoming vain in your imagination is where you believe your thoughts is greater than the Most High. When you believe the Most High think like you, despite him telling you the opposite of how you think. So once you become vain in your mind, it doesn't matter what's written. Your heart becomes darkened. So you don't need light no more because you know how to walk in the dark. You know where all the holes in the floor is, right? You're never going to fall. So then it morphs from that to, well, I got to create something else to put my worship into. Now it's 4-foot beast creeping things. So now you idolizing creation. It's like levels. It's like a video game. Now it's unlocking another demon. Now you get in the worst one of them all, where now you got a man through uncleanness and the lust of his own mind. He's dishonoring his godheadship as a man, as a head of a household, as a warrior, as a protector, as the honorable, and dishonoring his own body with another man. You don't just jump. You don't just be born straight like that and you just do that, even a child. There's levels to this. And this is a warning because you say, well, hey, I would never do that. My kids or whatever. Okay. You keep exposing them to these things, to placing a higher value on material things and the people that were created in this world, and not teaching them to develop the understanding of the Most High and placing him in the right order in life, which is over everything. It's a process. Tamshi?
Verse 25. Who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie, and worshipped and served the Creator more than the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
When you take your vessel that was created in Israel, you was created to serve. You Yah's witnesses, right? And if you are called and you're a believer, you're supposed to testify. You're supposed to have the testimony of Mashiach, which is the testimony of this word. And you turn it into a lie. And you turn it into a lie when you say, I don't got to operate. I don't got to move towards that. That's a lie. I can do what I want to do. I know better. My heart is pure. You are now worshiping and serving the creature. Because all these things that you're bending and shaped to gain whatever benefit that you're looking for was created. And the creator said, I will give you all these things which are good for you. No good thing will Yah withhold for those that wait on him, that have their faith in him. And you're going to get it another way. Finish it up, Bob.
Verse 26. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
So even the
And
women,
likewise,
even the women. So if the women operate in the same capacity, they fall victim to the same thing, because this is a spirit that we're dealing with. Change the natural use into that which is against nature. So now you have backwards behavior. Verse 27.
and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the women, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet.
Wow. Leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in lust one to another. How could you How could you develop so much lust for another man? There has to be levels. It don't just pop up. You have to naturally already have placed a value of creation way above. Because what could be so enticing that was worth death? What fruit could be so enticing to the eye that would make you bring death to yourself? Finish it up.
Verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
All right. So since we don't want to retain the laws of the Most High, the laws of righteousness in our mind, we think we got it. Because I can look in the world and I can see what's accepted and what's not accepted, what's going to allow me to get benefit I want and what won't. And we don't need Elohim anymore, right? Because we working good with the creation. Next thing you know it, you have a reprobate mind. And that is what we should all pray, that we never reach that point where his word can't chasten you no more. His servants can't chasten you no more. His Holy Spirit ain't talking to you no more. Now you left to the flesh. You just like a candle waiting to be burnt out. But you don't just get that way. You got to be out of order first. And once you out of order, everything is out of order. Verse 29.
Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, and without a natural affection, implacable, unmerciful.
All right, so this is what the reprobate mind looks like. Filled with all unrighteousness. Everything that's wicked, they trying to take part. Fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Yah. So if they're a hater of Yah and you serving Yah, how you think they're going to feel about you? And ultimately, that goes all the way down to being a covenant breaker. You're not keeping covenant with the Most High. So if you're not going to keep covenant with the Most High, you ain't going to keep covenant with your brother or your sister. And when you don't keep covenant with your brother and sister, you have no natural affection. How do you not have love for? It says even the Republicans and the tax collectors and the Pharisee, even they have affection for their own. So you got to the point where you have become so reprobate that you don't even have love for your natural family. And many of us are going through that. Well, we got natural family that has hatred for us. But this has been plaguing Yasharal from when we were just 12 kids. So this is something that's in the flesh. It's like if you have a cup, you can pour acid in that cup, or you can pour, life-saving water or medicine in that cup. It's still a cup. So we have to treat it as so. So we understand if I don't want acid in there, I need to keep the cup away from acid. If I only want healthy things, then I need to put a lid on it and put it away, preserve it. Vessels are the same exact way.
Verse 32. Who knowing the judgment of Elohim, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
All right. Has pleasure in them that do them. This is why they gravitate towards one another. Look at who you trying to gravitate towards. Who are you trying to put yourself around? Are you trying to constantly align yourself with the world? Or are you constantly trying to align yourself with the word and his people? We got to ask ourselves that. All right. So let's move forward. Let's go to Romans chapter 6. Because it's not as easy as saying, well, I'm just going to go serve the world. I'm not going to serve the creator. I'm going to quit and just serve. It's not that easy. It's not that cut and dry. But the actions, the telltale sign of whom you are serving is easy to identify. So this is what we have to look at so that we can ensure we're not serving the creation over the creator. So Romans, Ramin, chapter 6, let's start this at verse 1.
What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Allahim forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know you not that so many of us, as were baptized into Yahushua Mashiach, were baptized into his death? Therefore we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like as Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. For he that is dead is freed from sin.
All right. So unfortunately, we still have the sin that we have to fight. But your mind, when you become the newness of life, you no longer serving the creation. You no longer serving that flesh. That flesh say you angry, you got a rage or wrath. That flesh say you hungry, you got to eat whatever's put in front of you, whether it's clean or unclean. That's what the flesh does. When you serving the flesh make you feel a certain way, you're going to react that way. But when you serving the creator, you looking for righteousness. It doesn't matter how it feels. You're looking for righteousness. Now, we are in a human experience, so I'm not saying that we don't consider how we feel. It's just an order. Just because the husband is the head doesn't mean, well, throw the wife out. She doesn't matter. No, it's just an order. So it's the same things with emotions and how we deal with things. It don't mean we throw them in the trash. No, it just means there's an order. Righteousness first. And then let me deal with emotions. Because again, Yah said he is a jealous Elohim. So where do you think we got these emotions from? Tom Sheep?
Verse 7, 8. Now, if we be dead with Mashiach, we believe that we shall also live with him. Knowing that Mashiach, being raised from the dead, dies no more, death has no more dominion over him.
So when you being resurrected with him, death should have no more dominion over you. The wages of sin is death. So sin should not have dominion over you. You don't have to sin because you feel like it. You can deny it. You can say, nah, let me not. You can remove yourself. But we act like we are affixed to the transgression because this is what we did yesterday and the day before, that we got to be stuck in that. We don't have to. We can change. We can decide, no, I'm not going to serve the flesh. I'm going to serve the creator.
Verse 10. For in that he died unto sin once, but in that he lives unto Allahim. Likewise reckon you also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin, but alive unto Allahim through Yahushua Mashiach or Adonai.
All right. So what happens to dead skin? Anything dead on your body when it dies? Do you keep it forever? It gets ejected from the body. So if you are bringing this sin into the body of Mashiach, a body that was resurrected that will never die, what do you think is going to happen to you? This is why we have to do it in the living. While we're in the living, We have to become dead to sin in the body. That's a process. That's an everyday thing. You might avoid one sin. Guess what? Another one is coming right behind it. So this is a lifelong process. And this is a covenant that you have to make. But when you decide, I'm not going to make that covenant, I'm only going to appear like I'm under that covenant. Behind closed doors and in my heart, I'm going to think and I'm going to validate things according to the flesh. What do we think is going to happen? That death is not going to inherit life.
Verse 12. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that you should obey it in the lust thereof.
Why are we obeying it? It's the lust. That's what that feeling. See, when we see lusts, we automatically think, oh, a naked woman or a half naked man. Oh, lust. I'm lusting. Lust is also when you want to knock somebody's head off. You so angry. You want to kill your brother or your sister because you that angry. That's a lust. It's an evil desire. Covetousness, envy, all those things are like cousins. They right there. So this is part of the flesh. That's the way it was designed. You cannot let it reign. It cannot be the head, the master. Because we are worshiping. When you worship, what is worship? To bow down is worship. So you're bowing down to the flesh? It's that simple. We have to simplify things. Am I bowing down to my flesh or am I bowing down to Yah? My flesh is angry. My flesh is sad. My flesh is hurt. My flesh is hot and bothered. So you don't got to think. The flesh going to do what it do. Nature going to take its course. But who are you worshiping? Who are you bowing down to? Nature or the one who created all that? Tom Shee?
Verse 13. Neither yield your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto Elohim as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto Elohim.
Instruments of righteousness. You know, one of the biggest chinks in my spiritual armor is when I'll sit here and do a class or a Bible study or help somebody, whatever, and then 15, 20 minutes later, my emotion take over. And I'm yielding my members. I'm allowing my tongue to be an instrument of unrighteousness because I'm speaking something that is not glorifying Yah or not truthful or it's flesh oriented. That's yielding my body, my member, as instruments of unrighteousness. So now I've let the adversary use me. There's a consequence for that. Again, Israel, what was you created for? To serve Yah. Priests, what was you created for? The men of Yah, the kingdom of priests. From the priest's mouth, people should seek the law of his mouth. Out of his mouth should be knowledge. That's what you was created for.
Verse 13. Neither yield your members, just read that. Verse 14. So, apologies. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace.
So sin shall not have dominion over you. Sin also says you commit that transgression, you need to kill something. You're not under the law of blood and sin. When you sin, blood has to be shed. You're not under that law. You are under grace. You skipping past the death and moving towards life. Verse 15.
What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Allahim forbid. Know you not that to whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants you are to whom you obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness?
All right, so let's look at that verse real quickly. So again, if you are obeying sin unto death, can we, is there any confusion? Could we think that we serving the creator at that point? So if we know that this is a transgression and the wages of sin, singular, is death, and we decide, I'm going to do that thing anyways, who are we serving? You can call yourself an Israelite. You can call yourself a moray. You can call yourself a pastor, preacher, teacher, elder, husband. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but who are you serving? I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care what you say. Who are you obeying? Are you obeying Yah? And are you obeying the things that Yah told you to obey and the order that Yah gave you to obey? Or are you obeying that flesh that says you can't tell me nothing? I do what I want to do because I got the right to do so, because Babylon gonna let me say what I want to say and do what I want to do. Right? Till they shoot us down in the street. So you gonna talk to the police officer any kind of way because you got a right to do that. Now we know to shut our mouth. We see how they killing us left and right. But we have to consider, who are we serving? Servants of the adversary is not needed in the new kingdom.
Verse 17. But Allahim be thanked that you were the servants of sin, but you have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you. Being then made free from sin, you became the servants of righteousness.
All right. So when you are in bondage with sin, it is a very difficult process for you and everybody around you. Because everybody that tries to help or save you is going to get attacked. Because that demon, that spirit that wants to account you for death is not just going to stand around and allow you to just whatever. It's going to make your flesh feel a certain way. Just pay attention, just watch. Speak the word. And look around. Look at people's actions. Look how they react. You're going to see it in their face. You're going to see it in their mouth. You're going to see it in how they look at you. The flesh do not like that. The flesh does not like anything that's going to make it feel uncomfortable, whether it's right or wrong. Your flesh don't like working out. When you work out, it's the flesh is saying, wait a minute, you're breaking apart these muscles. You're ripping to shreds. You're pushing me too hard. I don't like this. But that's the very process that causes the muscle to grow, the pain, the struggle, because that's just the law that Yah created. It don't care how you feel about it. Tamshi?
Verse 19. I speak after the manner of men because of the infirmity of your flesh. For as you have yielded your members servants to uncleanness and to iniquity unto iniquity, even so, now yield your members servants to righteousness unto holiness. For when you were the servants of sin, you were free from righteousness. What fruit had you in those things whereof you are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death.
What fruit did you produce out of your flesh? Other than maybe a baby? What fruit came from your flesh that your flesh did it? Ain't no fruit coming from your flesh. It's called fruit of the spirit. And as one of my brothers was talking, we were talking about it. The fruit of the spirit. That's one fruit. It ain't multiple fruits. It's one fruit with many benefits. None of them benefits is coming from the flesh. So we got to stop putting all that stock in the flesh. It's just it's just false posturing, wolf tickets, trying to play and act like it's worthy when it's not. Your flesh is not. Nobody's flesh is going to be worthy. It's already dead.
Verse 22. But now being made free from sin and become servants to Elohim, you have your fruit unto holiness, and the end everlasting life. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Elohim is eternal life through Yahushua Mashiach, or Adonai.
So your salvation is a gift. Who is going to give you that gift? Name one person you met or you gonna meet or whatever that's gonna give you this gift. That's gonna take that gift from Mashiach and take it from Yah and say, nah, I'm giving it to you. That's retarded. And excuse that term. You know, I'm old school. You shouldn't use that term. That don't make any sense. That's bass backwards. It's a gift. If it's something that you can earn, then guess what? We could all just, and we're just going to do the works. And, you know, it say right here, I do this. I'm going to automatically get. This is a gift. And that gift is only going to be given to the worshipers of the Creator, not the worshipers of the creation. Let's move on. Let's go to 1 John chapter 2. 1 Yohanan chapter 2, and we're going to read 15 through 29. We have to understand is that, again, we are a unique, very, very unique position in this world. We got all the grace and mercy in the world to just take it to the house, get the championship, win everything, take all the marbles. We got all the ability and everything in the world, all the opportunity. But we also got all the rope in the world to hang ourselves. We have to keep our love and affection on Yah. Because when you have your love and affection on Yah, you can truly love people. When you don't have your love, affection on Yah, the way you love people is different. You're going to have unrealistic loyalty. Loyalty to somebody because in the flesh, they this person or that person. But yet they bringing you straight into destruction. But when your loyalty is to Yah, you might even love that person that has no ties to you whatsoever. But because you love Yah, you got to extend love to that individual. That's the difference. So 1 Yohanan chapter 2, we're going to read 15 through 29.
All right, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Because you're going to die for them things you love. You will literally die for what you love. If you ain't willing to die for it, you don't love it. So what you supposed to be loving, the things in this world or the Father? We all talking about, man, I would die for Christ. If I was there, I'd die for him. I'd die for the Most High. I'd die for my family. I'd die for my brothers. Then the ignorance, I'd die for a block I don't even own in a project that was designed to destroy me. We'd die for all those things. But you know you wouldn't. Because if you're not willing to live for it, you ain't willing to die for it.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
That's that feeling and emotion that you get when you drive by during this season and you see the little Christmas lights and the little Santa Claus and Feliz Navidad and all that stuff, that's the lust of the flesh right there. The lust of the eyes, the pride of life. I remember them times with my family, and the devil is so slick. He used good and wholesome things like family time, love, joy. It's better to give than to receive. He uses all those things against you. You can't love the things of this world. The lust of the flesh is going to drive you right off the cliff. And the lust of your eyes is going to send you towards that cliff. And the pride of your life is going to allow you to cuss out and turn your back on and disagree with every servant that comes and tries to save you.
Verse 17. And the world passes away, and the lust thereof. But he that does the will of Elohim abides forever.
So all those things that you think you care about in this world, it's all going to pass away. That flesh, that body, that that youth that we have, and the charisma and the temperament and all that stuff going to pass away. So which one of those things that was created is worth your forever? Because only the things that are of Yah are going to remain forever.
Verse 18. Little children, it is the last time. As you have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us.
And if verse 19 don't hit you yet, give it some time. It's gonna hit you. There ain't a single word in this book that's a lie, that's not gonna be fulfilled, that you're not gonna experience. You are in the body. If you are in the body, that means you are in this word. Mashiach, he said, I come in the volume of this book, so you're going to experience this. If you're new, many didn't come with you. You were new. So everybody around you is new to you because you're new to this. But as the years go on, all this new family you thought you had, that you thought was serving the same God you serve, you find out they serve in the creation. Soon as this teacher leaves, they gone. Soon as this disagreement comes, they gone. Soon as they get checked, they gone. Soon as they get embarrassed, they gone. Soon as they get tribulation for keeping the word, they gone. Soon as somebody disagree with them, they gone. What's your price? What does it take for you to leave? Verse 20.
But you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. I've not written unto you because you know not the truth, but because you know it, and that no lie is of the truth. Who is a liar but he that denies that Yahushua is Mashiach? He is anti-Mashiach that denies the Father and the Son. Whosoever denies the Son, the same has not the Father.
All right, so
but he that
denying this word, you do not have Yah. And denying this word don't mean, hey, this whole word is wrong. Everything in here is wrong. Just throw away the book. That's not denying the word. Denying the word is when you let your flesh pick out any one of these things because you don't like it in the flesh. It ain't you don't like it in the spirit. Your flesh don't like it because it affects your flesh. So you deny this word, you deny Mashiach, and you don't have Yah with you. Because you can look at anything that came from the Father and deny that, You don't have the Father with you. You got the adversary. That's why he's called the adversary. He's adverse. So you got to recognize that. Wait a minute. This is adverse to Yah. Death, get rid of it. Just like dead skin, dead nails, dead hair, get rid of it. This don't belong here. We're children of the light. We serve the God of the living. It's dead, maybe not dead now. It's going to be dead later. It's not going to be forever.
Continuing verse 23. Whosoever denies the Son, the same has not the Father, but he that acknowledges the Son has the Father also.
All right. Now I agree with that 100, but at the end of the day, they added that. When you see that gray in there, they trying to add that. So always take that as a grain of salt, because these Gentiles so honest that they're going to let you know they did something, so that if you get confused, you can't blame them. They're going to say, no, well, we put it right there. You didn't read the instructions. Verse 24.
Let that therefore abide in you, which you have heard from the beginning. If that which you have heard from the beginning shall remain in you, you also shall continue in the Son and in the Father. And this is the promise that he has promised us, even eternal life.
All right. So you've heard it from the beginning because it's in the beginning of the book. This is the Old Testament. Same thing. Verse 25.
These things have I written unto you concerning them that seduce you. But the anointing which you have received of him abides in you, and you need not that any man teach you, but as the same anointing teaches you of all things, and is truth, and is no lie, and even as it has taught you, you shall abide in him. And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence and not be ashamed before him at his coming. If you know that he is righteous, you know that everyone that does righteousness is born of him.
So abide in him, abide in his word, abide in his life. When you abide in this word, it don't mean you don't make mistakes. It don't mean that you do things that are wrong, that you're not fleshly. You ain't just, you didn't just leave your flesh on the floor and then you just came out as a spirit. No. When you abide in him, that means you constantly doing a reconciliation. Wait a minute. This don't belong here. Let me get this out. Let me move this. This not supposed to be here. That's how you abide in him. And guess what? There's things that you don't have the ladder high enough to get to. There's things that your eyesight ain't good enough to see. But when you abide in him, he got that. There's no condemnation in Mashiach. Because you in him, you in the house, you good. The servants will come take care of that. Let's go to Yohanan, John chapter 15. So you can't love the world. But guess what? The world is going to love its own. Why else would you want to love something that's against Yah? Because the world loves its own. So if you become the world going to love you. So you're not going to move towards something that's not going to love you. So which affection are you looking for? Something that's vain, temporary, make you feel good for a moment? Or the love that is eternal? So we're Yohanan, John chapter 15, we're going to read 18 through 27.
All right, John chapter 15 and verse 18. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you.
All right, so the world is going to hate you if you operate the way Mashiach operates. But if the world hates you for doing the same thing that the world is doing, then they hate you. They're not hating Mashiach. So you got to check your own actions. Am I being hated? If I feel like somebody's hating on me or hates me, are they hating the actions that's of Yah, or are they hating the actions that are against Yah? So it's not saying that we're supposed to go out and try to get hate from the world. How you going to love somebody you hate? And it says you must love your neighbor as yourself. But what you have to do is be willing to be hated. And see, this is often, considered a man trait. A real man got to be willing to be hated. Because if you sitting here trying to be liked by everybody, how are you going to protect the people that you're supposed to be protecting? So as we come into this world, we have to be willing to be hated by the world for righteousness. Verse 19.
If you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me.
They know not the Father. If they knew the Father, they would know this is the word of Yah. My feelings and my actions have zero bearing on that. This is independent. This is what, like the term in mathematics, mutually exclusive. This ain't got nothing to do with it. Stands on its own.
Verse 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin.
That's why they don't want to hear you. That's why they don't want to hear you. That's why they don't want to allow you to speak. Because if you hadn't come and brought their sin to them, then they could act like they innocent. Do roaches want to hang out in the light? Nah, but the dark, they want to hang out in the dark so they can't be seen. But when you are abiding in Christ, I don't want to be in death. So I don't mind the light being cut on. If I don't want roaches in the house, I want to see what's going on.
Verse 23. He that hates me hates my Father also.
So if you hate this word, you hate Yah. If you hate the person that gave you the word, if it gave you the word, what that say? Now you hate them for giving you, they cussed you out, called you the B word or lied on you, whatever. And you hated them. Listen, you're not supposed to hate your enemies, but it's understandable. But what kind of spirit do you have to be when you hate the person that's giving you the truth? Have I now become your enemy because I have given you the truth? Yes. That's what will happen. Verse 24.
If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this comes to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they hated me without a cause. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from the Father, he shall testify of me. And you also shall bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning.
Hallelujah. Let's go to Psalms, Tehillim chapter 10. So the world loves its own. So let's look at these worldly ways. It's easy to identify. So you know you got to be blind if you can't see these ways in yourself, because it's easy to identify. He's giving us a play-by-play. And these are the things that we do. So we can't act like we don't know no better. Psalms, Tehillim chapter 10. Let's go ahead and start this at verse 1.
Why standest you off afar, O Yahweh? Why hidest you yourself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous, whom Yahweh abhors. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Elohim. Elohim is not in all his thoughts.
That's the world. The world is not trying to seek Yah in their thoughts. Their thoughts is all moved towards how the flesh is going to be affected. That's pride. The pride of his countenance. He will not seek Yah. Verse 5.
His ways are always grievous. Your judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffs at them.
So Yah's judgments, they can't apply to him. Because he has the power to do what he wants to do. The judgments do not apply to him. But because he can't go out there and run a red light and get away with it, he gonna stop at that red light. So he only gonna go and do what is based on the judgment. But all Yah's judgments can't deal with. This is how the world operates. So understand, every time you're trying to talk to the world, this is how they operate. And until Yah has converted their hearts and opened their eyes, we are just testifying. It's just testimony. It's just witness. The angels are recording. Every vain word, every idle thought, all this is being recorded, and it's being recorded. What did you do for your brother or your sister?
Verse 6. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places does he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lies in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he draws himself into his net. He crouches and humbles himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He has said in his heart, Elohim is forgotten. He hides his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Yahweh, O Elohim, lift up your hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore does the wicked contemn Elohim? He has said in his heart, you will not require it.
He has said in his heart, you will not require, I will not be punished for going against your word. That's what he said in his mind. If he knew he was going to get punished, he wouldn't do it. But because he got away with it for a time, in his mind, in the darkness of his reprobate mind, I'm not going to be punished. Because I can do what I feel. I'm not going to be punished. Verse 14.
You have seen it, for you behold mischief and spite, to requite it at your hand. The poor commits himself unto you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break you the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till you find none. Yahweh is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Yahweh, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will prepare their heart. You will cause your ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress.
All right, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. So this is the way of the wicked. This is just the way of the world. If you operate according to them, they're going to be cool with you until it goes against their flesh. So multiply that into the latter days. If that was already how the world was operating, as things get worse, how do we believe people are going to operate? 2 Timothy chapter 3.
Second Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Allahim.
All right. So in
Having
these last days, perilous times. So in these perilous times, it just takes situation and circumstance for you to see when you have those that are worldly, when everything is good and everybody making money and everybody nice. Your neighbor's the nicest people in the world. But wait till perilous times come. That's going to identify who you are. And you want to know how somebody going to act in perilous times? See how they're going to act when they're in the flesh. Look how they're going to act when they're angry. Look how they're going to act when it's scarce or they're scared. That's how they're going to act in perilous times. So we got to check those emotions. We got to check how we deal with those things. He's not going to give you the final test on the first day. Lovers of their own selves, covetous, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. They don't have basic affection. Because when it all comes down between me and you, who you think they're going to choose? They're going to choose themselves. Natural affection will say, you'll see a mother give up her life to save her baby. That's natural affection. That's not what we have in the latter days. In the latter days, we see people murdering kids. Verse 4. Or actually, we're at verse 5.
having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs was also.
All right. Now, these two, Jannes and Jambres, these are the magicians that was also able to use earthly power to emulate the power of Yah. So at the end of the day, you're going to have people that are able to do things that will look like the power of Yah. But they got to go against Yah's word to do so. That's how you identify that. So if you just looking based upon what was able to be done, you can be misled. But when you worship in the creator, it don't matter what they do because he's already set that order. Now, we don't do witchcraft. We don't do all this type of stuff.
Verse 10. But you have fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all Yahweh delivered me. Yea, and all that will live godly in Mashiach Yahushai shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue you in the things which you have learned and have been assured of, knowing of whom you have learned them. And that from a child you have known the holy scriptures, which are able to make you wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Yahushua Mashiach. All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Allahim may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
All right. So this is what's correcting you. This is the reproof. This is the profitable doctrine. But if you are, again, out of order, you looking for the wisdom of man. You looking for people say this guy's the wise guy, this, that, or other. You looking for whoever going to agree with what you want. But this is what the scripture is for. This is what the word is for, so that we don't have to worry about the creation. We can focus on the creator. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. Let's start this at verse 16, and we have two more for the conclusion.
Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be you therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, and for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what you shall speak. For it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaks in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endures to the end shall be saved.
And enduring to the end, you got to endure this persecution, this un-Yah-like behavior around you, and how people deal with you and hate you because they hate Yah. And if you allow that to infect your spirit, where now you just hate the people, you just automatically judge on all the people, put them all in the same category because you done got your feelings hurt, you done missed the mission.
Verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee you into another. For verily I say unto you, you shall not have gone over the cities of Yasharal till the Son of Man be come.
So, okay, you persecuted here. Oh, well, it ain't the end of the world. You get up, you go to another city. Maybe, how do we get to where we at, period? If you look at a lot of our lives, we're in the place that we're in. We got here some kind of way through persecution. That's how we even got to where we got. Yah will allow persecution to happen sometimes so that you were your witness. You did what you had to do. You gave your testimony. Now it's time to move on. You can't be so yoked to the creation that you're like, nah, I'm going to stay here in this persecution. I'm going to stay here until they kill me. Even Christ knew how to get up out of there. Mashiach knew how to get up out the room to leave if it wasn't his time. So you can't yoke yourself to these people like that. To any person, any human being, you have to yoke yourself to Yah. And that will guide you and lead you where you're supposed to be. Some people are not your assignment. Tamshi?
Verse 24. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak you in light, and what you hear in the ear, that preach you upon the housetops.
So don't fear them. The world, again, is going to like their own. They're going to side with their own. They're going to spread their gossip. They're going to try to, put people against you, all that type of stuff. We've all gone through this stuff. We know how the world operates, right? Don't fear them. Because if people believe the BS, if people believe the lies, if they want to act funny towards you because of what they heard, guess what? It's going to be uncovered. At some point, it's going to be revealed. Y'all going to reveal it. If you in error, then you got to fix your error. Verse 27 or verse 28, Slakia.
And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is also able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not two sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear you not, therefore, you are of more value than many sparrows. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I am come not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
All right. So he who loves the creation more than the creator, what can be that important? That you would not do the righteousness of Yah because you love somebody, because you're honoring somebody. Who are you going to honor above the Father? And if you are honoring somebody above the Father, guess what? You are honoring yourself above Yah. You have made yourself the Most High. You El Shaddai. Go ahead.
Verse 38. And he that takes not his cross and follows after me is not worthy of me. He that finds his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. He that receives you receives me, and he that receives me receives him that sent me. He that receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give
Go ahead.
And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
Hallelujah. All right. So let's go to Romans chapter 8. So again, he who loves another over Yah, you're not worthy. You're not worthy to remain. At what point are you going to stop serving Yah? At what point in salvation history are we not going to be serving Yah, that we're not going to be bowing down? So you're not worthy. All of his creation, we are the only thing created that goes against Yah. Even the angels doing what they're supposed to do. We go against Yah. And the third of the angels that left with the adversary, the adversary was created. He said, I create life and death, good and evil. All right, so we're at Romans chapter 8. Let's start this at verse 1. Then we have one more for the conclusion.
All right, Romans chapter 8, and verse 1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Yahushua Mashiach, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach has made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Elohim sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Elohim, for it is not subject to the law of Elohim, neither indeed can be.
All right. So what makes you enemy of the Most High? What makes you the enemy of the Most High when you cannot be subject to the law of Yah? If the law of Yah cannot put you under subjection, you're an enemy against Yah. And that's what the flesh is. It's not subject to the spiritual law of Yah. It's going to follow the other laws. You're going to breathe. You're going to use the bathroom. You know, if you bleed to death, you're going to die. Those are also laws of Yah as well. But the laws pertaining to righteousness, the carnal mind will not be subject to it. So no matter how much you read them, the commandments, no matter how much you admonish, rebuke, they refuse to do it. So that is a clear sign to you if you're carnal minded, when the word is brought to you and you are rejecting the word.
Verse 8. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot please Elohim. But you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if so be that the Spirit of Elohim dwell in you. Now if any man have not the Spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his. And if Mashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the Spirit of him that raised up Yahushua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Mashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his Spirit that dwells in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim.
All right. And you just keep it very, very simple. The Spirit of Yah is not leading you to go against his word. Yah is not the author of confusion. So you are in confusion if, for whatever reason, you feel like Yah is leading you to go against his plainly written word. That is a huge warning and red flag that you should catch. And it's usually going to happen in times of extreme emotion. So do you think that you're more susceptible to hear the word of Yah when you're in extreme emotion? But that's vanity. When we can love our own creation, our flesh, our body, more than pleasing the Father. That's the step that's going right into the reprobate mind. Because once you've already made these consolations, what's the difference for another transgression?
Verse 15. For you have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself bears witness within our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Elohim, and joint heirs with Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waits for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope.
All right. So the earnest expectation, the down payment, the expected down payment of the creature, it's waiting. The earth, all of creation, the animals and the sky and the land and this, everything is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim. And the sons of Elohim are those that are led by the spirit of Elohim. And the spirit of Elohim is going to lead you to life, which is to keep these commandments. So if you're allowing another spirit, another person, another entity or whatever to lead you away from Yah, that's not the spirit of Yah. No, how could you, in your mind, continue to justify that? Now, if you misunderstand the word, that's understandable. We all have had misunderstandings. There's a difference, and you will have grace and mercy for those type of situations because Yah gives man understanding. But when you just decide, I don't want to follow it because of how I feel right now, that's you signing your death certificate. Tomshi?
Verse 21. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Elohim.
The earth don't want all this bloodshed. The earth don't want this fake clouds and chemtrails and polluted oceans and all the bottom feeders being eaten up and all. The earth is just tired. It wasn't created for that. We were given the manual for creation. It's right there in the book. So it's telling you how things are supposed to operate. So even the creation itself is saying, man, just kill off this old way of things. I need to be, I'm ready to be free to be with the children of Yah. Those that's led by the spirit of Yah. So much that is going to give us proof. It's going to show us that that's what's going on. Verse 22.
For we know that the whole creation groans and travails in pain together unto now.
The earth is falling apart. It's literally in Africa. You got certain countries, these big rifts. It's like a new continent is being created. It's ripping apart. I remember back in 2012, we started hearing these plates shifting again. It sounded like trumpets in the air. Everything is preparing for Yah's kingdom, but us. Even the Gentiles preparing based on their understanding, but they preparing. But us, the ones who are going to be responsible for it. Why? Because we too busy worshiping the creation. Too busy worshiping the gift over the gift giver. All these things are a gift. All right, you can stop right there. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24 for the conclusion. Mishle, Proverbs chapter 24.
All right, Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 1. Be not you envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their heart studies destruction, and their lips talk of mischief.
All right, so do not be envious of the creations that the evil men may have. If it's for you, Yah will not withhold any good thing from you to those that have faith and believe in him.
Verse 3. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding is it established.
All right, so through wisdom is a house built, right? Building. So what's the opposite of that? Without wisdom, what you think happens to that house? Verse 4.
And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by wise counsel you shall make your war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool, he opens not his mouth in the gate. He that devises to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men.
So even the thought of foolishness is a sin. This is why everything we think of don't need to come out our mouth. We're supposed to have gates. Your lips are gates. They're supposed to stop foolishness from coming out. We all get foolish thoughts. They say, well, how did these tares get here? How did these evil thoughts? An enemy came and planted it at night while you were asleep. Control your gates.
Verse 10. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small.
And your day of adversity is when your flesh is telling you to go against Yah. That's your day of adversity. That's every day. So when your flesh is telling you go against Yah, you to God, and you fall to that, your strength is small. And here's the other side, verse 11.
If you forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if you say, behold, we knew it not, does not he that ponders the heart consider it? And he that keeps your soul, does not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works?
That's no coincidence. It's coming right after fainting in the day of adversity. A day of adversity ain't always your adversity. A day of adversity, the adversary is here. There's confusion here. Your brother or sister might be in confusion. If you faint in that day and say, nah, I ain't gonna say nothing, because this person is always, they gonna get mad. I am worshiping the creation. I want this creation. I want the relationship with this person. You know, who wants their mom mad at them? Who wants their dad upset with them? I value that relationship more than Yah. I'm not gonna say nothing. Hey, I'm just gonna show up to the Christmas dinner. I ain't gonna eat nothing, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Your strength is small. People looking at you like, well, he a Hebrew, so I guess it's not that bad. I don't know much, but I know that's what he believes. So if he doing it, I guess it ain't that bad.
Verse 13. My son, eat you honey because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to your taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto your soul. When you have found it, then there shall be a reward, and your expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falls 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Rejoice not when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles.
All right, again, you got to look at how he put in these verses. A just man falls 7 times, right? Then it's talk about not rejoicing when your enemy falls. Just because somebody is your enemy don't mean that they wicked. You could be the wicked. Your enemy could be the one that's saving your life, that's telling you, bruh, stop doing this. Everybody just saying it's cool because they benefiting off of you. I'm telling this for your favor. But he a sinner just like everybody else, and he falling, he making mistakes. But he's getting back up. So what you think y'all gonna do when he see you rejoicing at this same person that's coming here to save you? And instead of you helping them up, the same thing he trying to do for you, you rejoicing. So now he turned away his wrath from that person. He trying to chasten whom he loved, but now he got to deal with you worse. Verse 19.
Fret not yourself because of evil men, neither be you envious at the wicked.
All right. So fret means don't be angered. When people do evil, don't let it anger you. That's my biggest problem. When I perceive evil, it angers me. And here's the problem. The big problem is I might be wrong. The other person might not be wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. I'm not perfect. But if I keep allowing myself to get angry at evil, it's putting my flesh in a position to be weak. I'm not the judge. Finish that up.
Verse 20. For there shall be no reward to the evil man, the candle of the wicked shall be put out.
So you know his candle finna be put out. What you angry at him for? You should have more compassion. That's lack of mercy. And it's usually like in my situation, it's out of, overcompensation because I'm in transgression. So I'm getting extra angry at evil, like King David did when he was committing adultery. Then he heard about a man stealing from a poor man. He ready to kill the man. Why are you so angry? We got to check that. Just because you in righteousness sometime don't mean you in righteousness all the time, and vice versa. Verse 21.
My son, fear you Yahweh and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change.
That word meddle means yoke. You see, the evil man don't want to listen, don't want to repent, don't get angry with them, don't judge them. You just can't yoke yourself to that. They're given to change. You got to let them be. You don't control people. They want to move towards that transgression. You say what you got to say, but then you have to let it go. Because if they jump off a cliff and you holding on to them, where you think you finna go? You think you finna fly? Yeah, I didn't tell you to jump off that cliff with them. That's you loving the creation over the creator. Maybe they not your assignment. Your assignment is to do what this word say. Speak the truth.
Verse 22. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knows the ruin of them both?
Fast. Just that quick. You trying to yoke yourself to somebody and the whole place gets shot up.
Imagine the people that were in the wilderness that were, no, not the wilderness. Imagine the people that were yoked to Korah.
Ooh, man. And yoked sometimes just be family members. Look at Achan. His whole family got thrown off the valley, off the cliff. Yoked to this man. That's his family. Same with Haman in Shushan against Hadassah in the book of Esther. His whole family got thrown off in the cliff, got hung and all that type of stuff. You got to be careful who you yoke yourself to.
Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 23. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that says unto the wicked, you are righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them.
That don't mean it's going to come from the person you rebuking. If that person you rebuking is worshiping the creation, what you think gonna happen? If he's worshiping the creator, he's gonna say, all praise is due to Abba Yah. Hallelujah. Thank you for showing me. Now, this might not apply to me, but, I appreciate that you cared enough about me to bring this up.
Verse 26. Every man shall kiss his lips that gives a right answer. Prepare your work without, and make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterwards build your house. Be not a witness against your neighbor without a cause, and deceive not with your lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he has done to me. I will render to the man according to his work.
All right. So when we play those games, right, I'm going to do the same thing he did to me. And now guess what? Y'all's like, all right, this man finna get punished. But here you say, well, I'm going to do the same thing. So you going to do wickedness because they did wickedness? So now both of y'all going after the ditch. The blind follow the blind. They both going to fall in the ditch. You the person with the eyesight. You supposed to see that's wrong. So that's the answer to that's wrong isn't let me do wrong. Let me do another wrong. But guess what? We all human. We make mistakes. We can be victims of the flesh. So when that happens, you stay in the body. Guess what? I'm wrong. Let me repent. Let me try to fix this. Let me try to avoid this in the future.
Verse 30. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding, and lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
So how much fruit you think is growing in that vineyard? So picture the vineyard is you, your mind, your heart. You ain't doing no work. You're not rooting up any of the bitterness. You're not rooting up any of the idolatry. You're not rooting up any of the wrath. You're not rooting up the rebelliousness. You're not rooting up any of that stuff. But because you can't see it, you just assume it's great. But now it's covered with thorns and nettles and all types of stuff. Ain't no fruit of the spirit growing. You got to put in that work. Verse 32.
Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall your poverty come on as one that traveleth, and your want as an armed man.
All right, praise Yah. So again, we have to make sure that we are intentional. Just like when you drive home and you drive the same way every time, if you're going to stop somewhere else on the way home and you drive that same way every day, you'll accidentally just drive home if you're not paying attention. The Most High is showing you the nature of your brain. It will move on autopilot. You'll be like, how did I even get here? You don't even remember making the turns. Your body would just operate. So you have to be intentional on not worshiping that creation, not bowing down. Worship is to bow down to, not serving the creation over the creator. I'm not saying that we don't serve people as well. Yeah, we serving to Yah. Who you think we serving? The people. We serving Yah, but it's through the people. But at the end of the day, we cannot put the cart before the horse. So we got to be intentional, and we got to do checks and balances within ourselves and within our homes. So that's all we're going to do today. We have any last questions or comments? Check the YouTube, see if we have any questions or comments. All right. Again, we are Israelites Gathering. You can visit our website at israelitesgathering.com. If you would like to reach out to us, you can email us at info at israelitesgathering.com, or you can visit our website or our application and you can reach us directly. If you've gained anything through our ministry, through the teachings, and would like to tithe via our ministry, you can hit us on Cash App at # S word ATL. So that's all we're going to do today. Any last comments you want to close out with, Brother Cassette?
Oh no, I think you covered it all, and it was definitely a great class. Definitely helpful even for me. So
All praise. Yeah, we all, we all have things. We got favorite shoes, favorite shirts, favorite friend, favorite everything, right? So we have that tendency in us to have a desire and to love things, and to love people. And he's not saying don't love people, but we got to keep things in perspective. Like I said, he gave the order in the house. Yah is over Mashiach. So we gonna throw Mashiach out because Yah's in control? Nah, Mashiach in his order. So we don't just throw something out because it's not the most important thing. So we don't throw the creation out. We just don't forget the order. So Yah's will, we'll see you for next Shabbat. We went out to a ministry out there in Covington. I think it was the prophecy ministry, brother out of Arizona. Didn't really have much time to talk too much, but definitely enjoyed it. It was good to fellowship with some other brothers and sisters. It was a lot of newer people, but I definitely was impressed with the teaching, that the level of understanding, for such a new ministry. So definitely give a special Shabbat Shalom to Brother Meliki and his lovely wife for inviting us out. So Yah's will, we'll see you for next Shabbat. Everybody enjoy their Sabbath, and if you're still in dedication, enjoy your last days of dedication. Shabbat Shalom, y'all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.